Okay, these are not really questions. You need to get a girl, bro. This guy's mother must have had him make this video so she can help him find a girlfriend. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Emery and I'm a private equity VP based here in Canada. So I started this YouTube channel about a year and a half ago, honestly just as a side project. I was stuck in COVID, everybody's working from home, there isn't really too much to do. So I decided to just record my daily life and publish like a small little video. Honestly, I really didn't expect how much the video has grown since then and how much this channel has grown since then. And I was gonna make this Q&A video for hitting 1,000 subscribers as a milestone, but since I uploaded my last video, it seems like we kind of blew past that. So I'd like to thank you guys for actually taking interest in these little videos that I posted so far. And today I want to just go over some Q&As that you guys left throughout all of my videos so far. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so just get the really most commonly asked question out of the way. There's honestly two questions that make up essentially like 95% of all the questions. And these two questions are, number one, how do I break into the industry? And number two, how much do you really make? So when I first created this channel, even as my channel name suggests, I kind of want to create more of a casual speaking environment for the average person to learn about investment banking, learn about private equity without getting too serious into the recruiting and the salary side of things. And honestly, with my background is more from a boutique investment bank into a relatively smaller private equity shop. Students aspiring to get into the industry, their idea of investment banking, private equity is breaking to a bulge bracket and then moving on to like a Blackstone type of thing, right? So there's definitely a lot more qualified YouTubers out there that specifically focus their channel on careers, recruiting, salary. So I don't think I want to dive too deep into those topics on this channel. But I just want to give my quick 2 cents about each one of these topics. When it comes to recruiting, my most commonly asked questions are, how do I break into investment banking? How do I break into private equity? If I'm 30 with no job experience, can I still break in? Do I need the CFA? In my mind, there's really only 3 ways to break into the industry, and that kind of covers the entire spectrum. The number one and the most obvious way is go to the target school, right? I mean, it is what it is. Target schools are the easiest way into the industry, and you'll get the most opportunities because you don't have to search for the opportunities yourself. The opportunity presents themselves to you just on campus. I won't expand too much on that option. That is the easiest and the best path forward if you're pursuing investment banking. And for the remaining 2 options, I think cold emailing and networking are essentially the other 2 options. On the cold emailing front, that's how I personally landed my first investment banking internship. I was just a second-year undergrad student with no experience. My only job experience at that time was being a lifeguard. So honestly, I would say cold emailing is a lot more luck as long as you're prepared for the chances when they do come. If you really want to hear the story of how I got in, you could click the link below. On networking, this is one that's very dependent on person. There's various ways to network your way into the industry. Anecdotally, from my personal experience, the first private equity firm that I worked at, the other associate that I worked with was a longtime auditor who used to audit our funds, and that was a natural connection there because she knew all of our deals, she knew the structure, she knew the waterfall. So when it came down to making that connection, that's still part of your network because you know the firm, right? You know everybody in the firm. Recruiting to me is more about essentially getting the opportunity to interview as a person who recruited, interns and analysts, associates in the past. And this is more from my personal experience. I don't look too much into the resume during the interview as much as I screen them pre-interview. So as long as you get the chance to interview, you're already on the same playing field as somebody who's from a target school. On the second topic of how much money do you make in investment banking and private equity, there's a lot more, actual numbers that are aggregated out there about how much each firm pays, right? So honestly, all the data is out there if you look for it. So I don't want to speak too much about that topic. Just on my personal stats, I would say working for boutique investment banks and private equity firms, my base salary was just slightly below bulge bracket bank or a mega fund, right? So when it came to bonuses, honestly, I've actually worked for firms that had really interesting compensation structures. I had firms that offered a piece of the company revenue as a bonus, and I had firms that offered a carry to the fund profits. So I would leave it at the private equity field. When it comes down to boutique firms, they're definitely a lot more creative when it comes to offering you your salary. So that's one thing I like personally about working with smaller firms. And just my overall thought on salaries in general, I think it really is a mistake trying to chase the industry with the idea of I want to make a lot of money. There's a certain threshold that when you hit, the type of lifestyle that you live is honestly not so much different. I would say somebody making 100,000 is honestly not living too differently than somebody making 150,000, but somebody making 50,000 is honestly living like worlds apart from somebody making 100,000, right? I do believe there's like really levels to this. Once you start making the millions, that's at the point where you could essentially not work, right? If you're making 100 to 200,000 a year, you still have to continuously work. The only difference that it makes is how much money you can save up, which honestly is still pretty important. It's just your lifestyle from 100 to 150,000 really does not make that big. Okay, these are not really questions, but more like comments. You need to get a girl, bro. This guy's mother must have had him make this video so she can help him find a girlfriend. If that's not the case, you need a girlfriend. You look super lonely. No. Okay, but jokes aside, honestly, I was single for almost 6 years, ever since I graduated from undergrad. And mostly because, you know, when you get off work at 7, you get back, it's almost 8. By the time you're done eating, it's almost essentially like 9 to 10. You don't get too much of the weekday to really do much. And I always felt bad, especially if I had a girlfriend. Obviously, I want to spend time with them. I don't want them to be too dragged down with all the hours that I'm spending in the office, right? So it's just not fair for me to not give too much to them as well. So yeah, it's really tough, especially with the weekday hours that you have. This next question says, how do you not become obese while working in finance? Be real, what do you eat for real though? Honestly, on the days I actually think I should eat healthy, then I would just bring a little bit of home cooked food, right? If my interns ever watch my videos, they're gonna expose me because they're gonna say I eat Popeyes like 3 times a week. So I'm just gonna put it out there that my diet is pretty sporadic. Popeyes sponsor me. Now this next one is an interesting question. What are some tips for office trip? All right, so it's a Thursday at the office. This is the fit. Thursdays are casual days for us, so we don't really need to wear that much. Quick flannel, black jeans, and Air Forces. I'm here with my intern.
Hello.
Evan. Evan, what are you wearing today?
No, this is casual. I got the.
Dude, what are those, man? Why are you wearing black Air Forces? Come on.
You know,
You gotta be professional. Come on.
They shoot people, you didn't know?
At least with my own interns and my staff, I don't expect them to wear something formal, especially on a Thursday and Friday when they don't have any in-person meetings. From the firms that I worked at in the past, if they're, you know, older, run by older management and they're more traditional, they obviously want you to be in suit and ties. And especially in the recent years, seems like people are kind of gotten more loose about their wardrobe. And especially during COVID, right? Everybody's at home, people could wear t-shirts and sweaters. This one's a very interesting question. I can't help but notice you buy every fragrance. What is your go-to feels best suited for every day and work? So this is sort of my entire fragrance collection. I guess this is a hobby that I started in the middle of pandemic, like how many hobbies start. And obviously I started with these ones at the back, were literally the most generic ones that everybody recommends. And slowly kind of my taste developed more towards this way. If we're strictly talking about office, I think my go-to would definitely be the Tom Ford Beau de Jour. And if I had to go with the second one, I mean, this one's super popular for the office, but Prada alone. Please log your gym routine. In terms of my gym routine, honestly, for the amount of time that I actually have nowadays, it's really tough for me to really go to the gym. I would say on an average week, I either go once a week or once every 2 weeks at this point. So back when I was consistently doing it in my investment banking days, it was more like 3 days a week, back and bicep, chest and tricep, and then legs. This next question is, how intelligent do you need to be to get into investment banking and private equity, or is it a matter of hard work? Honestly, in my personal opinion, and I think people land differently on this, I do think you just need to meet a baseline intelligence level enough to understand deals, and a lot more is more like logic and applying past historicals, if that makes sense. If we're talking about, you know, private equity, investment banking, what you're really doing is just adding, subtracting numbers, right? It's how you interpret the numbers really make a big difference. I actually feel like people who succeed in this industry are people who have strong memories. Like you could recall deals that you've done in the past, right? Like if you guys watch basketball, like LeBron James remember the exact plays that he did 10 years ago. If you've watched chess, like Magnus Carlsen really recalls every single play that he did from 20 years past, right? I honestly think that skill is more important. The fact that you're able to recall the details about the deal and apply to future deals is, being conscious, being aware of your past deals, having a strong memory. I think that's actually one of the more underrated intelligent, if you want to call it. Next question says, as a VP, you must be very involved in decision making. Can you provide high-level list of factors to consider while underwriting real estate deals? And technically how a private equity firm or investment bank works is, Managing directors are essentially the relationship managers, right? Like they will bring in deals, they will bring in investors. It's more up to the VP to lead the underwriting and the staff below them to make sure that the deals that are brought in make sense for the firm, for the company, right? When it comes down to real estate, I mean, real estate is actually one of the more simpler industries if you really think about it. There's really only 6 line items when it comes down to cost that you really need to care about. And when it comes down to revenues, it's essentially like 3-4 lines, right? It's either rent or like parking income, laundries. So real estate is honestly a very simple industry when it comes down to numbers and modeling. When it comes down to taking on a project, it comes down to how does it fit your investors' appetites, right? Every fund typically has a fund mandate on what type of investments it can make, right? For example, if you're a real estate fund, you might be locked into specific asset types like either residential real estate, commercial real estate, I don't know, industrial real estate. And typically the fund would have some sort of return metric that they would look at, right? So a lot of times it's more like calculating whether whatever you can possibly do to this deal, whatever value you can add to this deal, can meet the return criteria that you set out for your fund, right? So typically on a real estate development deal, say it's 20% annualized compound return to the investors. So then you got to calculate whether if there's a market out there for you to buy this asset, put in money to improve this asset and sell it at a premium so much that it can make this investor 20% a year, right? Typically that's the process of how private equity firms analyze deals. Okay guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed all the questions that I had to the comments. Keep leaving more comments in the comment section below. Maybe in the future I'll make a follow-up to this video if there are more unique questions that come my way. If not, I typically do reply to some of the earlier commenters that leave comments in the comment section below. And hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.